Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me again. You know, the MIDI controller space has gotten really interesting in 2025. On one hand, we got the release of Novation's Launch Control XL3, which offers affordable hands-on control primarily focused on Ableton Live users, but now with its dedicated MIDI ins and outs, it's a perfectly viable alternative for a DAW setup where you want functionality, but you don't really need any more bells and whistles than what it says on the tin. On the other hand, there was the release of the new Zeit Drop, a veritable MIDI powerhouse which offered not only a metric ton of control possibilities, but also introduced mechanics such as the jump and the drop, which can make pretty much any instrument have the same patch morphing capabilities as a polybrute or an octatrack. All this power obviously comes at a price, and not everyone is willing to shell out synth level money for a MIDI controller. So what about the people that needed something in between? Well, if you needed something squarely down the middle of these two, both in budget and functionality, hold on to your gas, because Oxi Instruments has just launched the new E16, a performance-oriented MIDI controller for both DAWs and software users, which follows their philosophy of making devices that put music creation first. In this video, I want to give you my first impressions of the E16 and also give you an idea of how it works and how you might find it useful. Before we start though, I do want to give you a potential bias warning here. Oxi Instruments sent me E16 at no cost, but they're not paying me to make this video and have no say whatsoever over my opinions here. That being said, I am a huge Oxi Instruments fanboy, and I do have affiliate links and discounts of their products in my description. This video does have a sponsor, the good folks at Analog Cases, but more on them a bit later. Okay, so what is the E16? The E16 is meant to be a highly customizable, compact performance MIDI controller that has a few cool tricks up its sleeve as well. The build and aesthetic is exactly what I've come to expect from Oxi. It has a stylish jet metal black body with bezeled edges and round corners. On the front panel are 16 metal encoders, which also act as push buttons, each with their corresponding halo of LED lights and an LED screen that at first glance seems almost exactly like the one on the Oxi One, just a little bit taller. Hidden within the Oxi logo is the only button on the device, which acts as both the power button and the shift key. On the back, you have a USB-C port for powering the device, as well as transferring MIDI, performing updates, and using the Oxi app to customize the E16. And right next to that, it has 2 TRS MIDI outs and 1 TRS MIDI in. The entire device feels absolutely rock solid and roadworthy, and just like the one, it also comes with its own little travel pouch. Just in case you're wondering, the E16 has no internal battery and must be powered through the USB at all times. Now with all of that out of the way, let's get into the important stuff. Namely, if it's easy and fun to work with. I'm very happy to report that the E16 is an absolute cakewalk to learn and to use, and props to Oxi for making it this user-friendly. If you watched my channel before, you know I'm not a big fan of having to hook up my hardware device to a computer to configure it. And although objectively speaking, the Oxi app is a very quick and efficient way of customizing your E16, it's way more fun and organic to do it directly on the device as you're playing and as the need for certain controls arise according to your performance. When you first turn on the device, you get this little home screen where you can pick one of 16 scenes, of which you have 7 available here, plus the configuration button. So I'm going to pick scene 1. As you can see here, I've already been tinkering around in here, and this entire page is basically my most used Oxi Instruments choral module parameters mapped out right in front of me. What's really cool is that you can name parameters in pages and scenes, so you always know where you are. So for example, this is called scene 1, page 1, but I can just go shift, edit, and then choose page, and then I could just dial that in. So let's call this choral. Easy peasy. Hi there. Does this keep happening to you? You're sitting down with your favorite group box laid flat on your desk when suddenly you reach too far, snap your neck, and die. Snap. Snap. Aw man, there's got to be a better way. Well, don't you worry, my postmortem friend. Analog Cases have you covered with their new line of XTS stands for desktop synths. They offer a sturdy solution with an extendable frame so they can fit a wide range of your synths to put them at just the right angle so you can prevent fatal neck injuries and death. Aside from grooving with a better posture, you also get a better clearance for your audio and MIDI cables, so you can fit in more synths in a smaller footprint. Use my affiliate link in the description to get a discount on your next purchase. Thank you so much, Analog Cases, for sponsoring today's video. A very useful feature on the E16 is that all the parameters of a page can be set to the same MIDI channel. So when you program a page in, you don't have to set each parameter individually to a particular channel. So on this page, for example, where I have all my choral parameters, they're all being sent to channel 2 by default, though I can change it per encoder if I need it here. For example, if I go here, shift, and then I just go into destination, and the channel can be either page, or I can assign a custom channel. I'm gonna leave it on page. There are 12 pages of 16 parameters per scene, so let's get into page 2 to play around a bit in here. So I'm gonna go shift, page 2. I already have 2 parameters set up here, which are the cutoff and the resonance of the peak. And here I want to touch on something that I really loved on both the Oxi One and the new Zeit Drop that thankfully the E16 also has, which are instrument definitions. If I just press this knob and then shift, I can go into the destination and I can press instrument. Here on instrument, I can access the libraries that I've already downloaded and select peak or summit. And now I have access to pre-mapped MIDI parameters across the entire synth, which makes setting things up extremely fluid and easy. Not only that, I can also copy and paste these settings. So if I go back and click on copy, now I just click on this one and paste. Voila. Now I just have to change the parameter and keep going, which means I can set this whole thing up just a matter of minutes. As I said before, the E16 is very much performance oriented, and just like the drop, it allows for setting up control of multiple parameters at once and morphing between states. Here, this function is called a snapshot. So let's make a snapshot right now. I'm gonna take this encoder that doesn't have any destination yet, and I'm gonna assign it to special and select snapshot. This means that this is gonna be our master knob. So if I click on these, that means that these parameters are now following this one here. So let's just tweak this around a bit, and this is gonna be my initial setting. So now that I click this, I can capture scene A. Now I'm gonna tweak these again, and I'm gonna capture scene B. Now when I turn this knob, everything else follows suit. Now, similar to snapshots, you can also assign groups of parameters to move in relationship to each other. For example, let's jump back into page 2, where I have my cutoff and my resonance. Now, let's say that I want my resonance to move inversely to my cutoff. I can just tap here, then tap here, and now the resonance is going to move with my cutoff. But let's say I wanted to affect it inversely. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to press down into minus 100%, let's say. Now, it'll go in the opposite direction. And it sounds like this. You can also record automations on this thing, so it acts like you have your own custom LFOs. Though you do have a dedicated record button. If I press down on Shift, I can also set one of these encoders to act as a transpose button for easy access. So let's do that. I'm going to press down here, special again, and I'm going to press rec. Now, with everything on, I'm going to move a few knobs. There we have it. Now, as you can see, the entire menu navigation language is entirely dependent of just a couple of clicks and long presses combined with the shift button, with no weird combos required to get you where you need to go. Now, I've always heard that there's genius in simplicity, and I have to say that the user interface here is absolutely that. So far, I think the E16 fits the bill for anyone who wants loads of power in a compact, elegant, and gig-ready package. I had just an awesome time mapping out parameters and jamming on the Choral with this thing, and I think the E16 is going to solve a lot of people's MIDI needs. Also, if you've owned any other Oxi Instrument products, you know that Manuel and the team at Oxi are perpetually grinding in the lab, stomping out any bugs and adding in new features. So I'm very excited to see what the E16 will be able to do in, say, a year from now. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.